Now, something I know that we firmly disagree on, besides the place of government, is our current president. What is your single biggest issue with Donald Trump as president?
Let's just pause here for a moment. Arian Foster joined Colin Kaepernick in kneeling.
What would have to happen for you to stand during the national anthem?
Honestly, man, I'm not sure I will stand again.
He simply gets it.
The president played an integral part in facilitating the lie of you're either patriotic or unpatriotic.
And he took Tomi Lahren to school on her own show.
What is your single biggest issue with Donald Trump as president?
I think you should operate in a way which is more conducive towards diplomacy rather than divisive in nature.
Pause it. This was a loaded question. And asking Arian Foster to cherry pick one simple thing he despises about Donald Trump is like asking, why did the Cubs not win the World Series for 108 years? Where do we start?
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
Very fine people on both sides. Said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Oh, it's so weird.
Why do we want these people from, quote, all these whole countries here?
He's not a war hero.
He's a war hero.
He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay?
I was never a fan of John McCain, and I never will be. If we don't have border security, we'll shut down the government. Why isn't he giving his birth certificate? It's not a birth certificate.
You better believe that I hate the people that took this girl and raped her brutally.
If I were starting off today, I would love to be a well-educated black because I really believe they do have an actual advantage today.
You could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
Very serious allegations. The moment the dressing room door is closed, he lunges at me, pushes me against the wall, hitting my head quite badly.
$3 billion, $533 million. 36 years ago, this happened. I had one beer, right? I had one beer. Well, do you think it was? Nope, it was one beer. Oh, good. How did you get home? I don't remember. How'd you get there? I don't remember. Where is the place? I don't remember. How many years ago was it? I don't know.
They continue.
I do think he's made himself very accessible. And I think that that's what...
Pause it. Play that smirk Foster gives Tomi on her false ideals of a president.
I do think he's made himself very accessible. And I think that that's what more presidents should do, rather than being this...
Oh, beautiful.
And I think that that's what more presidents should do, rather than being this figure that's untouchable and that is perfect.
Let's stop here. Tomi, the president is accessible to Fox News. He is accessible because your channel kisses his ass, like when tax figures showed him losing over $1 billion.
Anything, you read this and you're like, wow, it's pretty impressive, all the things that he's done in his life.
They continue.
And I think that that's what more presidents should do, rather than being this figure that's untouchable and that is perfect and that says everything in such a polished and charismatic way, and then behind the scenes is a completely different person.
Well, I agree and disagree. I think he is very accessible, and I think he's too accessible. I think he's been caught in multiple lies.
Pause it here. Here's where Tomi has to stick up for her guy. Watch.
I think there's a difference between exaggeration and lying, but then there's also a difference between, you know, I lied about
Define liar.
Well, a liar is you're blatantly trying to mislead people. He exaggerates when he says my crowds were the biggest crowds. I think that's an exaggeration.
That's a lie, though.
But when you're saying I'm lying about that, or I'm lying about, you know, under the table ransom payments to Iran, I think that there's different scopes
There's
of
a difference
lies.
in the degree of which you're lying, but the underlying theme is distrust.
Exactly. As the Paul Ekman Group puts it, people lie to avoid punishment, conceal reward, protect from harm, self-protection, avoid embarrassment, etc. These all qualify for 45's consistent lying. And the distrust lies within getting his cult-like following to gain his trust through his own lying to distrust the media.
Do you agree, though, that he's one of the only presidents that said, this is what I'm going to do, and then did it? I mean, you have to give him that. He's followed through on his promises.
I don't think he had.
On what area do you think?
We said he was going to build a wall.
Well, it's being built.
I give Fox and Tomi credit. When they are with you, they are with you. The Washington Examiner, a conservative outlet, ran the headline, "Trump has not built a single mile of new border fence after 30 months in office." Tammy is just echoing her Lord and Savior Donald Trump's rhetoric on this topic, whether on Twitter or in person. Nothing has been done. The wall has not been built, but she'll never admit it.
It isn't.
It's being built. I promise you it is.
You see, Lahren learned his harsh lesson when biting the hand that feeds her.
I can't sit here and be a hypocrite and say I'm for limited government, but I think that the government should decide what women do with their bodies. So stay out of my guns, and you can stay out of my body as well. Got a phone call saying that show was not on. They've been suspended for a week, perhaps longer. I was flabbergasted.
Then Foster closes out.
Promised across the entire border is being built is disingenuous, on top of the fact that he said that Mexico was going to pay for it.
Look, this was a heavily edited, condensed clip on Fox Nation. The reason, in a limited sample size? Well, as their saying goes, their opinion was done right, just by Arian Foster.